Hey, awesome people. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a real quick review about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Saw it yesterday with some amazing people. Shout out to Star, Richard, Baranzi, Jams, and the one and only Orlisha, aka Leah, aka Orly, aka wonderful person. Yeah, so saw it yesterday in the theater. It was, first and foremost, like initial opinion getting out of that, I don't think I have laughed so hard. I don't think I have teared so much. I don't think I have rooted for heroes, despised villains, felt so deeply or been so excited for a Marvel movie, let alone any movie really recently, than I did going in and watching James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was the best of all three movies for the Guardians films, I think. It surpassed my expectations. I was entertained from the beginning to the end. I was really impressed by this movie, so if we're looking at, sorry, I don't have this memorized yet. I need to get it memorized. My little points, my review points. All right, so here we go. We got acting, right? So if we look at who was in this, we have our James Pratt. James Pratt. It's not James Pratt. We had Chris Pratt of Parks and Recreation fame, among a lot of other things now. He stars as Peter Quill, a.k.a. Star-Lord, the captain of the Guardians of the Galaxy. We got our Bradley Cooper voicing Rocket. We have Dave Bautista as Drax. Karen Gillan as Nebula, who really stood out to me in this one. Vin Diesel with his I Am Groot, and does it with different inflections and does it so well. Hats off to you, Vin. That's not the easiest of roles. Sean Gunn as Kraglin, or he also voiced Young Rocket in this. Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. He plays one of the baddies, or so it seems, at the beginning of the film and throughout. He's a very interesting, complex character and also very dumb, and we love him for it. So those are the main characters. Again, the big person that stood out to me, Chris Pratt did an amazing job as Star-Lord. His emoting was fantastic. Rocket spends a lot of the movie nearly dying. The whole movie basically. So acting, I'd give a 5. Outstanding, excellent, everybody across the board. Oh, Mantis, Palm Clementif. Yeah, plays Mantis. She's so sweet and so funny. The way she flies through space as they're trying to land and always perpetually lands on her head, like no matter what she does, it's a fucking hoot. 5s across the board for acting. Score, sound. Again, James is mixing the music like from the 90s and the 80s and the 2000s even with this. He has all the decades basically, and mixes so much amazing rock music. And really, like, even at the end, his choice of Florence and the Machines, the Dog Days. Perfect. Oh, that was so good. It had me clapping, it had me cheering, emoting like a fucking Valentine card. It was such the perfect choice. Dog Days Are Over. I remember dancing around with my ex and my bestie at the time, and we're all in the kitchen drinking and listening to that song and having the best fucking time. And it reminded me of that here at the end. He chose it for the climax, or not the climax, but like the denouement, like at the end, when they're kind of wrapping up and saying their goodbyes, and so good. Chef's kiss. So the score and the sound, like the fighting sequences, the spaceships of it all, the battles of it all, well done. Like I sound is so good. Like I nowadays, like I rarely even know when it's bad. So I'm totally immersed. I'm completely caught up. Like again, for those unsung heroes in the sound booth, thank you. You guys do an amazing job. Set design, cinematography, editing. The cinematography in James Gunn's Guardians movies are, I think, the best of the MCU. I'm going to miss him being a part of that. I am so excited to see what he's going to do with the DCU. His Superman Legacy is coming up. He's going to be directing that. He has such an ability to combine heart and smarts and wit and like he like fucks you up like emotionally but does it with a smile, and it's just so good. Like he's so unique, like in terms of how he writes and tells stories. I'm such a fan of his. So cinematography 5, that's easy. Again, score sound 5. Writing and script. This is the only part that I wouldn't give a 5, like in terms of the script. I loved the story. I thought the story of Rocket and finding out where he comes from and the animal cruelty and the high evolutionary, this Chukwudi. I'm going to mispronounce this. I'm sorry, sir. Chukwudi Iwuji. He's the high evolutionary. He plays this villain who, like, God won't help us, so I'm going to do it myself, is his overall motive. And he's going to try to perfect species and create, like, the perfect society and the perfect planet. And he does so in these monstrous ways. And he just tortures these animals in this attempt to try to create this perfect species. And Rocket gets caught up in this. He's like one of this herd of raccoons, these baby raccoons, and it's just absolutely fucking heartbreaking. And he befriends these other creatures, Lila and Floor, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Lila, Floor, and Teefs. And he befriends them, and they just love one another, and then they just find such joy in the friendship that they create, all locked away in these cages. And it's such a beautiful testimony to the beauty in all of us, and regardless of what you look like and regardless of your circumstances, the power of your spirit and that connection to the source is always there. It can always be harnessed and tapped into. And I think that was one of the best parts of this, and one of the greatest ways that he told the story was bringing in that spirit in a world where we're on our own, and how those two don't mesh well, and how you still have to try. Even though you are on your own, there is still something great and profound within us, and hopefully where we get to go to. And it was so good. It was really, really well done. I wouldn't give it a 5 because I felt it to be a little, at the end, a little manipulative. Like just in terms of like and even like the animals and stuff, like it became a touch, and this is just like literally just a touch trite. Not overwhelmingly in any way, shape, or form. It was still incredibly powerful and full of empathy and joy and the love of family and the love of the misfit and giving a shit about all of us, including animals, even if you're not the most intelligent. Like we all deserve care and compassion and respect, and that's all wonderful. But also it felt like a little overwhelming, a little much in moments, and those moments were small. And but again, so I'd give that like a 4.75. It was on its way to being excellent in terms of the overall story. I think if you had withheld maybe a little, that might have been a 5. But other than that, though, like it was fantastic. So if we add up those scores, so we've got 5 for acting, 4.75 for writing, 5 for cinematography and editing, 5 for score and sound. That's 19.75, near perfect. Divide that by 19.75, divide that by 4. So that's a 4.9. So 4.9. So we'll just say a 5 for directing. So basically, this is the highest scored film I've done. 5 plus 4, sorry. The math of it all. 24.75, divide that by 25, and we have got ourselves a 99%. I think this is I don't know if it's my first A+, but this is definitely an A+. I highly recommend going and seeing Guardians of the Galaxy on the big screen. It is a technicolored daydream of beauty and care and family and being a fucking misfit and finding the joy and love in the violence. And if that's not the point of life, I don't know what is. So I hope you and yours are well and happy, and peace.